Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope that it was a fantastic week for everybody. As I said, I always wonder when we talk about, boy, is this shirt big for me? You know, um, I have officially passed the 50-pound mark now. And I'm noticing just a lot of my shirts that I am just putting on are kind of, the shoulders that used to be here are moving weight. Where's the shoulder now on this one? The shoulder seems way down here, and I see the neck is kind of dragging at it. Anyway, um, welcome everyone. It is great to see you here. I am just going to double check here and make sure that we are live, and it looks like we are. So I hope you had a good week. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked. I think last time we talked, I had just returned home from the Harley Davidson Festival. So I remember we talked a little bit about that. And strange as it may seem, I have not had my motorcycle out since getting back from that event. So I should ride that thing, get all lubrication going through it and make sure that the battery is charged up and everything. 'Cause it's been sitting in this hot Florida garage for several weeks without being ridden. And as you know, I can't find my helmet, and I've been wanting to get a new helmet anyway. You may remember when I was up in Milwaukee, there was a helmet I was looking at, and it's not really a limited edition, but it kind of is in that they only made it once in that style and that decoration, whatever you want to call the orange Harley Davidson writing on it. So in that regard, when it's gone, it's gone. And the only thing I don't like about it, I mean, it's a great looking helmet. It looks really, really nice and it fits me well. I tried a lot of helmets on, they don't all fit real well. The only thing that's kind of weird is that chin guard is really just kind of decorative. I don't understand it. It says right on it, not for protective purposes. So I don't get it. It's just there so you can look like Darth Vader. Um, just a little bit strange, but nevertheless, I do need to get a helmet. And I think that's what I'm probably seriously looking at. I mean, I suspect most of the damage. Well, good evening. How are you doing tonight? It's good to see you. Um, but it is, I think when most people damage, get in accidents and get damaged, it's mostly the cranium. I don't think most of it is the jaw breaking. So maybe it's not even, really that big of a deal. But anyway, that's one of the things that I'm looking at. So, Ellie, it's good to see you here. I'm wondering if a lot of people are going to show tonight simply because I've been a little sporadic. I've been missing weeks. So I hope, how do you like my new background? It really isn't new. This is very, very old. This is, I used to have my bar set up here. And when I used to do Thirsty Thursdays, you used to see that picture of the sunset. And I know you can't see it, but behind me, there are also some. You can kind of see this palm tree right up here, and then there's a seagull over on that side. But you're not seeing them really really well anymore. Thank you. It is a nice background. It's better than having, I guess I could put up a blue screen or something. I don't want to bother. And it's better than seeing that bed in the background, right? So I guess I could go in front of my bookshelves and everything like I used to do. But anyway, so Harley was really fun, and that's the only thing I really didn't discuss too much is a helmet. But I do want to have, you know, um, I've got a really nice Harley jacket I used to wear when I rode. It's denim, but it has um, a big leather, not a patch, but a square on the back. What would normally be the whole back would be a denim back, and it's leather, and it's embossed with an eagle. It says Harley Davidson, but it's way too big for me, and it doesn't get so cold down here that I can pad that up with, a hoodie or something. So I don't know if I'm going to sell it. It doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on it, and it's Harley Davidson. But anyway, so I was out on Marco Island yesterday, and I enjoyed that. And I didn't get out much. It was really a nice day today, but it's a little hot now down here in Florida. And the only time I got out today, I did get a little sun. It's always nice to just kind of keep the color up because I am so white, being Scandinavian heritage. And I walked to the gym today. It's not that far, but out working today. Yeah. Um, well, it's nice to see you here as well. Yeah, I know it's nice to see me online because I was just talking about that. I'm not online regularly, but so I walked to the gym today. It's not a really, really long walk, but it's about a mile. And so I walked there and then I did my workout. I didn't do any cardio because I figured I walked to the gym and back. And so I was only there for, I don't know, 45 minutes. And then I walked back and I was beat. I mean, I was just about ready to fall asleep. And one of the things I got to be careful of is to make sure that I keep drinking water, right? So it was just that and editing and different things today. So you probably saw the Dom Perignon video. I already got scolded for saying it wrong, Dom Perignon. I've been saying Dom Perignon. So I don't know. I'm not French. I don't speak through my nasal cavity. So I said it wrong through the whole, however long that video was. But anyway, it was bittersweet. I tried to tell myself, people always say there's going to be um, those points along, especially the first year, and they came in rapid succession after my wife passed. There was Christmas and New Year's, and then my daughter's birthday, then her birthday, and it was so hard. It was just like my insides would be being torn out. And then, so I knew it was going to be really rough with the anniversary. So I tried to just approach that as upbeat and just try to remember the fun things. I was looking at pictures, but you can you can't. You just can't. And I don't know how that's ever going to be gone and how that's ever going to leave me. But it was really hard, and we had that bottle of Dom in the refrigerator. It was given to us as a housewarming gift when we moved here, and that was almost 4.5 years ago. It was 4 years ago, February. So now we're almost into August, so about 4.5 years. And we kept saying, that first year we didn't have it right away because you're so busy moving in, and um, and there's just so many things going on in our lives. We just never really had a chance to break that out. And then Julie got sick, and so we never did. And I saw it sitting there, and I thought, what better time? What better time? So yeah, I broke that out, and I probably will never have a bottle of anything that expensive again. That's I don't know, $300, $350 for a bottle of champagne. And so I got a couple of cheeses, and then I got some caviar. Caviar is always the stereotypical thing that you have with Dom Perignon. So I bought some, but I bought some cheap stuff. Oh my goodness, that was the most terrible thing I have ever tasted. I mean, it was foul. It tasted like garbage. It was just nothing but salt. And I could tell right away when I opened it because those eggs were so tiny. They were smaller than BBs from a BB gun. And I know this is going to be bad. I could just tell. And the minute I put that in my mouth, I mean, I didn't spit it out. Give me credit for that. But I didn't rinse my mouth. Well, I kind of did. 'Cause I had a sip of champagne and I had a cracker right away. That was awful. That was really, really bad. So then I had some cheeses. I had some brie and I had some Havarti and Havarti, and those were both really good. And I bought some really crisp crackers that were kind of bland. Intentionally, I was looking for that. I didn't have salt or anything because I really wanted to have the flavors of the cheeses and the flavor of the champagne is what I wanted to do. That was my thinking anyway. So that was fun. I still kept the box. I'm looking over here because it's sitting there on the counter. I still have the box and I still have the bottle. I can't imagine I'm going to keep it you know, things like that. How long do you keep things? And you keep them for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, and then one day you throw them away, you know. So I am getting, what did Frank Sinatra sing? In the autumn of the year. Yes, I'm in the autumn of my life now. The last thing I need is to collect memories, right? Keep the memories up here. So I am trying to clear out more things, and I'm not trying to bring more things into the household. Believe me. So anyway, I want to just check. I don't think I've been missing any texts here. So uh, Allie even saying good evening, and it's really been hot here. And American Tours, is that a changed name? Late here, I'll probably only be here for a few minutes myself. So, um, and my machete, I posted the machete video, but we didn't have a chance to talk about it because I haven't had a live stream since my machete broke. Oh my goodness, that was so weird. 'Cause I can almost see that from my window. My lanai's right here, but it's a little off to the side, kind of behind us. It's a neighbor on this side, and they have this big, like a jungle in their backyard. I mean, it's beautiful. It's nice and thick, and a lot of birds come there and hang out. And every now and then we see a buck will come and he'll just fall asleep in there for a couple of hours. And I'm sure that's full of other critters that we don't even know about. But it's really thick and it's hard to keep clean. When I say clean, I mean to keep the dead brush and stuff out of there to keep it growing because it's so thick and so dense and so tall. And, it's got to be 15 feet tall, with the big, great big, I don't know what the plants are, big leaves. They're like the type that you see, fake versions of on the Casablanca fans, but they're like 3 times as big. I mean, when I take them off, when you include the stem, they've got to be 5 or 6 feet tall. So for whatever reason, a whole big chunk of that jungle came down. I guess the stalk just got too weak. That was a big stalk. I would say, yeah, about that big, about 6, 7, 8 inches. Snapped right off, and then I think it brought us another one down with it because those things they look light and airy, but they are not. It's like a tree trunk. It's like a tree trunk that size. So anyway, what do we have here? I need to catch up in your last couple of videos. I didn't go to Duluth. Again, I was in Ottawa, Canada, but I would love to go back up to Glensheen. I really would. That was one of my. I've gone to a lot of cool places. I mean, I have been to every major city in North America, and the ones that you think of as being the places you want to visit. I've been to Honolulu, and I've been to Alaska, and I've been to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I've been to, Seattle and Los Angeles, and New York and San Diego, and I've been to all the big cities everywhere in Washington, but it's kind of weird that one of the things that really stuck out in my mind is Glensheen Mansion because it was a very, very neat place. And you know me, I just like that kind of history. And then to have a real live, no, it wouldn't be live, but a real life murder mystery attached to it, on top of everything else. That place is so old and it's almost like classic. And I think I said this when I was visiting it, but it's almost like those old, scary mysteries and horror movies and things from the 1930s. It's like one of those could be filmed there because it is one of those, you know, uh, old, elegant, um, big mansions. Must be, I don't know, 25 rooms. They have everything classic. They have a billiard. It's like looking at the clue board, but multiply it by 3 or 4. They have the billiard room. They have a library, and every room. Remember, this is built in like 1902 or something. So every room, although it was heated, they did have a huge. I mean, when I say huge, they had a boiler room down there that was like it looked like it could heat a school. But then again, that mansion, that was like a school. So it had a big boiler room, which now they had taken most of the stuff out because I think they modernize it with central heat and everything, forced air heat. But so every room has a fireplace, and every fireplace is different. And the showers in there, they have showers. This had to be state of the art back in the early 1900s. They have like 10 shower heads. It's like the things that you see now that are really super expensive when they'll have several shower heads, on the sides and the top and everything. They had that. They had the uh, rain shower. The main one's a rain shower, like now. So I mean, that place was something else. I don't know, how did we get talking about that? Yeah, you brought up Lenchi. So I would love to go back to that. And then if you remember by chance, just by happenstance, they had a brandy tasting or something that night, and people were there, and they had a bonfire out there, and people were there, and it was like a little party. And so I just kind of hung out until, the wee hours, and then I had to go to work the next morning because I was there to facilitate a program. That's why I was in Duluth. But that was really, really was fantastic, and one of my most memorable visits. So a movie was filmed in the 70s. You'll Like My Mother with Patty Duke. Really? I'm gonna have to look that up. It sounds like a really bad movie. And those are the kind I like. I mean, when did Patty Duke, other than the Helen Keller story, when did Patty Duke ever make a good movie? Right? By that time, by 72, it was almost like she was ready to do the Love Boat. So, and she was probably on all those game shows. Remember, she always used to be on all those game shows. And she married John Aston. Um, she married the Gomez Adams. Then they had that kid. That kid, that's an actor. He was in the Goonies, wasn't he? What's his name? Um, Sean Astin, I think. So anyway, but we are really getting off on a tangent, aren't we? You know what I should do? What I should really do for my channel, I just changed the name on. I should, sitcoms to cinema. I should do that. That would be a great story. I could start off with Glen Sheen Mansion and then go into a review of the Patty Duke movie. That would be fantastic. Shows the interior of Glen Sheen, and they didn't have to change everything. Well, that's true. That's true. It's much easier if you can find location. And back in the day, it was hard to do location because the film was just not powerful enough. That's why when they had Technicolor and everything, and they had to just overpower it with light. They had to have so much light, and the sets were so hot. And once film got better, they started to pull away from that. And that's why you see, and it was a different type of color too back then. That Technicolor it was done like through a dye process or something. That's why they look so vibrant and unnatural when you look at like The Wizard of Oz or Gone with the Wind or something. Um, anyway, we're really getting this. This should be a conversation, a live stream for sitcoms to cinema. But no, really, you didn't change the subject. This is what live streams are. This is what live streams are. They're about, engagement and just talking about whatever comes up. And it got me to pitch the sitcoms to cinema channel, right? So if you've not seen it, I should be linking that in every one of my videos because sometimes it's hard to find channels here in YouTube. That's a fun, fun, fun channel. Most of the videos are really short. They're little short 4 to 6 minute videos, and they're profiles about movie stars and TV stars, and 10 things you didn't know about this show, and it's just fun, lighthearted, and I like that. I like that stuff anyway. So, well, a lot of people are already subscribed because that's the old Uberhints channel. So if you're subscribed to Uberhints, you're probably still subscribed to that channel. So anyhow, we were talking about the jungle next door. And so my neighbors are snowbirds, and they are gone now. They're back up in Pennsylvania. So when that came down, I called them and they said, we'll hire, so and so. And I said, I didn't want to spend that money. I needed the exercise, I needed the outdoors. And so I went out there. I chopped a little of it the night I saw it, the Saturday night, and it got so dark, and I was afraid I was going to chop my foot off or something if I kept it up. So I went out the next day. I was out there for over 4 hours, just hacking away with my machete. I felt like Jungle Jim, like I was in one of the talk about being back in the 30s movies. I'm hacking, and I came down to that one, and my machete just shattered. I thought it just broke in half. It turned out it really did. It broke into three pieces. And I think there's two reasons for it. One of the reasons was it was just a cheap machete. I think I bought it for $7 or $8 at Harbor Freight. Another thing, when they sell that thing, it wasn't real sharp. So I spent a lot of time sharpening, and it probably was not as sharp as it could. So I was probably hitting that with a blunt instrument. And so the combination of the two, a bad machete and not a sharp machete, which could be the same thing, um, that actually was contributing factor to it breaking. So anyhow, I took a little break and I went off to Lowe's and I got a new machete and I finished the job. And some of those things, they were only 3 to 4 feet around and long, and maybe only about this long, but they were really heavy. They were like carrying a big old log. And so I had to, I guess I didn't have a chainsaw, so I couldn't chainsaw it up. So I was just hacking it up with the machete. And it was really weird because some of those branches, and Ellie, you might be able to attest to that. Maybe you have the same type of thing. But when I would hit the green stuff, it was great because it would slice right through it. It was fresh. But the stuff that started to dry out, it just bounced off like it was rubber. It would not let that machete cut it for nothing. It was a tough job. It was tough work. So anyhow, got it taken care of. I got a new machete out of it now. Well, I had to buy the new machete. And this one, I didn't buy a $7 one. I bought a $25 machete now, so I hope it's a good one. So hey, what do you think? I think I'm looking pretty good now, huh? I've lost my double chin. I don't have any loose skin here. That's starting to get nice and tight and firm, and I'm looking like I did when I was 16. No, okay, not when I was 16, but uh, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot better. Um, 50 pounds, man. That's hard to imagine. That's like a small human. I think I've dated women that were 50 pounds. My wife was almost that. She was very slender. I joke she was like 100 pounds, but still. Um, yeah, so that was really nice. And I think the more I keep at it, exercising like that, and get out and do outside work like that, it's only going to help. So anyway, I was going to make a video. We talked about that last time on how I did it, how I lost weight. I still want to get down more. Um, for my height, I'm about 6 feet. I'm probably a little less. I probably did some shrinking since my days, but maybe now I'm losing weight. My spinal column will stretch out again. Who knows? But let's call it 6 feet, 5'11". So I think by most actuary charts, I should be about 170, 175. And I was 249 pounds. And if you look at my old videos from like January, I look like Humpty Dumpty. I have this big fat head. Um, but everything, it's coming off the shoulders, my chest, and every place that there's fat is where I'm losing that. So, there's that 50 pounds, and I could probably stand to lose another 20 if I'm really going to get it at the weight I want to be at. But I kind of like to do it. I kind of like to do a video because there were a lot of approaches. It wasn't just one thing. I did a lot of things. And I don't know. I don't feel like I always look like a fat guy, like a big fat guy. But apparently I was. Maybe I still am. All right, this is my machete. You've also probably noticed the AI videos. Let me know, people that are in the room, have you seen them? What do you think? I'll tell you the story behind that. And some people, I lost a few subscribers because of those videos. I just wanted to play around. I wanted to have a little fun. And AI is obviously the future. And so I wanted to just get on board and practice a little bit and see what this is all about. But it's not free. If you want anything good, you can't do everything on ChatGPT. So I'm really playing around a lot, and I'm doing things that I could do on my own, but I'm just having AI do some things just to try it out and see what it can do and what it can't do. You know, and I'm doing silly things like I'll write up maybe a description for video, and then I'll put it through AI, and I'll say rewrite this and keep it under 25 words or whatever. I just want to see what it does and what it's capable of. But with the videos, I'll tell you that it is so bad. I work with them and I am picking out the best of the best, but weird things happen. I did that one video where I had, the joke was here, and I'll tell you why I chose alligator Alcatraz too. But here, they say that, and I was trying to make it silly that, because, President Trump was saying, you know how he is. Everything is, amplified and magnified, and, the big, beautiful prison. And a prison isn't really beautiful, is it? But no one's going to escape because there's alligators and pythons and all this stuff around. And I thought, what could be really silly? And I thought, well, what could be silly is having that alligator actually apply for a job as a guard. So the whole thing was supposed to be fun. And I think some people are just so sensitive. I think they thought I was making a political statement. And I wasn't making a political statement. I was just trying to have fun with it because it was in the news. And I thought it'd be really funny, if an alligator actually applied for the job. And then, we have the thing, it's our version of Bigfoot down here is called the skunk ape. So I thought, well, now the skunk ape is going to get jealous because, of course, the skunk ape, no one ever sees him, no one knows about him. So he wanted to be a guard because he's scarier than an alligator. So the skunk ape and the alligator got a job. And I guess it's not as funny as I thought it would be. But so they got a job at Alligator Alcatraz. And then they're talking about, well, no one can escape. You can't tunnel out of here because we're like 2 feet above sea level. And then I cut away to a convict that's crawling back up out of a hole, that he had tried to dig out, and it's filled with water. And a python comes crawling out with him. I had more trouble getting AI to have that python crawl out. First of all, it made two perfect holes like it was a manhole or something. It didn't make like a chisel out hole. And it made two of them, one for each of them. And then when that python got out, for some reason, it had a head on each end. It didn't have a tail. And then it split up into two pythons. It was just bizarre. It was the weirdest thing. And they have suddenly they'll burst out. They'll say a line that is like irrelevant or doesn't make sense, and it's just weird. And so by the time I put together a little 30-second video, I've spent a lot of money because of all the mistakes that AI makes. So maybe I should make a blooper video. Maybe that'd be a fun video. So, anyways, I didn't see anyone comment on that, but have you seen them? Do you like them? Are they stupid? Is it irrelevant? Does it not make sense on this channel? Most of the content on this channel is Florida related these days. So I thought it would make kind of some sense to have that, have a little fun with an alligator and alligator Alcatraz and that swamp ape. So that's why I did it. I haven't made any in a couple of weeks now. I might start up again. My credits ran out for July. So it might start up again in August. We'll see. Maybe I'll find um, some other silly characters and some other thoughts. If you have some funny ideas, hey, leave them down below or send them to me. I'm always looking for ideas. My email is still uberhints@gmail.com. I have another one, Magic Remarkable at Gmail. Either one of them will get to me. But that's it. That's why I did it. It had no political motivation whatsoever. Okay, losing weight is hard. I've lost 25 pounds in 11 months. Need to lose 30 to 40, but you look great. Well, thank you, Allie. I appreciate that. I don't know anything about it, but it's nice when you do things. I figure I could too. I need to watch those yet. I'm enjoying hearing you tell about it. Well, they're funny. They're all shorts, by the way. So if you want, go to my channel, go to Average Me, and then you can look at, the videos and shorts and community and all that. Click the shorts tab, and then you'll see all the shorts I made. I also took some of my uh, trips that I did, and I'm trying to remember now to shoot some things in vertical format so I can condense some of it into some shorts. Shorts they're hard. They're really hard because it's hard to get a following with shorts, and you don't make money on shorts. I saw a review when they said to make about $100, you have to have a million, a million, a million views. So, but it's kind of fun. I've been putting music and just, having some short clips. So what normally might be a long format video, you're seeing some of the stuff and it's just accompanied to music. It's fun. It's fun and it's kind of artistic and I've been enjoying it. So there are, yeah, so some shorts formats, but all of the AI videos I've been making are uh, a short format. And then I made one for the Sitcoms to Cinema channel. I know I've been, poor Hulk Hogan, everybody got videos up so fast about Hulk. And I have been, I hate to do that just to cash in. If I'm going to do it, it's going to be to actually, recognize the man and, be a tribute to the man. I don't want to do it just like so many people just put up a video to cash in. But, it didn't, I can't say it surprised me though. As healthy as he looks, and he's a big, muscular, and he exercises a lot. But how many surgeries has he had on his backs and his hips and everything else? And I think those guys, especially the ones that came up through the 70s and 80s, like Schwarzenegger and Hulk Hogan, and some of those guys that are really buff. I think they took a lot of those steroids back in the. I mean, that steroid use is rampant in the bodybuilder community, and that's why those guys, Hulk had heart problems, as did Arnold Schwarzenegger, as have a lot of NFL players, and you know, Arnold's had what, like four heart surgeries already. And they say, oh, it's congenital and it's something he had since he was a child. Well, that could be so, but I'm sure that this abuse of your body through drugs does not help things. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a guy who, mouths off on YouTube, but I kind of think I'm right on that one. So, anyways, yeah, that was really sad. So who was it? Ozzy and Hulk, and what was their third? They always say that these celebrity deaths kind of come in thirds or come in threes. So yeah, that would be probably a nice to make a little tribute to Hulk on the sitcom. Yeah, although it's not sitcom or a cinema, he was a television star and he did some movies. I actually saw him filming a movie once. I wonder if I still have that footage. It would be on VHS somewhere. But he had a show called, it only lasted a season, if that. I think it was called Thunder in Paradise, and it was with Chris Lemmon, Jack Lemmon's kid, and they were filming of all places. I think it was a Touchstone Disney type thing, and they were filming at Epcot, and they were using one of those, the lands at Epcot as their backdrop, and Hulk was grabbing somebody and pushing him up against the door and saying his line, and they did that 3 or 4 times. And I had my old VHS video camera, and I filmed it, so I know I got footage of him shooting this movie or this TV series back in my old VHS video. So I wonder if I still have. God, do I have a VHS? Yeah, I have a VHS player. Would I be able to find the tape, and would I be able to find the adapter? Because I know I used to have the VHS-C. That was my ring hitting the edge of the table, if you're wondering what that click was. I had the old VHS-C, and they had to fit into an adapter if you were going to play them in a regular VHS machine, or you'd play with the camera. And my camera's long gone. I don't know, threw that away, 20, 30 years ago. So anyway, that was uh, that was my Hulk Hogan experience. So yeah, that was really a shame that the Hulkster died. But when I was Hulk Hogan, to me, brings memories back of college, because I was in college in the mid 80s, and that's when wrestling really exploded. And I think that Rocky movie was like 83 or something, and then Hulk became really big, like 85, 86. He was doing all the WrestleMania things, and um, Cyndi Lauper was getting involved with wrestling at that time, and it was just huge. And yeah, that just reminds me of my college days. So yeah, rest in peace, Hulkster. But out of all those old timers, he was one that seemed like he was gone forever because he was so healthy and still working out and still big and muscular. And he had his life was um, in a shambles, kind of, wasn't it? He he had um, that leaked video that came out, and that didn't do his reputation much good. And his kids were, you remember his son got in a car accident, and I don't remember if he killed his friend or his friend is a paraplegic, but that happened, and then he's got his divorce and his kids. It was just not a fairy tale life, that's for sure. But nevertheless, I think he was a good guy, and it was a shame to see him go. Ozzy, on the other hand, he was a weirdo. He was odd, wasn't he? But he had a nice family, and so I suppose he was a good family man too, as weird as he was. So there you go. Yeah, please watch the AI videos. Give me some feedback. Tell me what you think, because they're a lot of work, but they're a lot of fun. I hope as technology improves, they'll get better and better, and maybe it'll put all the actors out of work, though. Who knows? Who knows? And writers too. You can almost tell it. Write this story. This is what I want, but it comes up with the stupidest stuff. It really does. It doesn't even make sense. So anyway, well, thank you, everybody. I think that one brings this one to a close. As always, I do appreciate everyone that watches. I know that you can be doing other things, and it warms my heart to think that you spend some of your time with me. So thank you for being here. Keep your eyes on the channel throughout the week, and don't forget those shorts. And I assume I'll be back next Sunday at 8 Eastern, unless I completely run out of things to say. Then I'll let you know. I always post something in the community section one way or another if I'm going to do it or not. So thank you so much, everyone. And like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.